So let me share with you a customer service experience that I went through that actually had a great impact on our business, and actually we repeat this with our engineering staff all the time to help them see a bigger picture. When I first purchased my home, I had to make an evaluation if I was going to take care of my yard myself or if I was going to outsource it. And looking at it, looking at the cost, the maintenance, all that other stuff, I decided I was going to outsource it. So did a little bit of reviewing, did some interviewing of some different companies, and found one that seemed to take care of everything I was looking for. And they would come, they would edge, they would mow, they would trim, they would clip, all those different things that you want your landscaping company to do. Well, I was excited. They did a great job. The yard looked incredible. And in fact, every Thursday, because they would mow the lawns on Thursday through our neighborhood, every Thursday I'd drive home and I would look. Now, this company did something that was pretty neat. They would actually cut the grass differently each week. So it'd be diagonal one week, it'd be straight, it would be diamond like a golf course. It was something to look forward to. And every Thursday I would come home and I would look at what they had done. Everything was great for the first year. Second year comes by, and I'm on the front lawn on the weekend, catching for my daughter, and I noticed these little moths flying. And at first I didn't think anything of it, a couple moths, what's the deal? But as the summer progressed, I noticed more and more of these moths. Now, I was about to raise and ask questions to my lawn care company, but it wasn't convenient. They did the lawn while I was at work, and you just forgot about it, just kind of moved on. Well, into summer comes around, and my lawn is no longer that lovely green that I was promised. It looked like a patchwork quilt. It was gray, it was brown, there was a little bit of green. It was horrible. So once again, I thought, well, I need to reach out, but I forgot and became distracted. A couple weeks later, and it was a Friday, because I remember what happened on Saturday. So Friday I come home, and in my lawn, there's a huge area ripped up. I figure out what has ripped up my lawn. I look at it. It's the end of the day. I'm dismayed. I think my kids have done something. But nothing to do. I go back in the house. Well, the next morning I wake up, Saturday morning, to the sound of crows. And crows are in my front yard, and they are ripping up my lawn, taking big patches, scalping my lawn, and then eating these little white things. And I don't know what they are. So I run out to the front yard and shoo off all the crows. And by the way, the crows don't go far. All they do is go across the street and they wait. And they laugh at you. So I look at it, and sure enough, I had these white, fat little worms with black heads. I'm mortified. I don't know what these things are. Lawn care is not my expertise. So I run back in the house, and I do what every educated person does nowadays. I hit Google, right? Hit Google, look the information up, and I spent that morning shooing off the crows and educating myself and becoming an expert about grubs. When you treat them, where they come from, how to deal with them, how to spot them, what are the warning signs. I'm frustrated. My lawn was beautiful. This thing looked great. Well, frustration turns, and now I'm focused on the lawn care company. They failed me. They should have known. They were the experts. I hired them. I trusted them. So, in my frustration, I reach out and I call another company. I ask them, do they know how to deal with grubs? I pointedly ask them, do they know how to deal with grubs? They tell me yes. We basically consummate the deal, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. You take care of my lawn for me from here on out. All I have left now to do is call my old landscaping company and give them a piece of my mind. So, I call up the old landscape company. What do I get? Answering machine. Right? I was frustrated because I wanted to give them a piece of my mind because it was obvious theirs was lacking. They didn't even know about grubs. 2 weeks go by and there's a knock at the door, and it's the president of the old landscaping company. Mr. Adams, how can I help you? I understand you've left our service. I wanted to talk to you about it. Okay, well, I point out to my front yard, which is a patchwork, and I say, I've got grubs. And he tells me, well, yes, it does look like you have grubs. Well, of course I've got grubs. Why didn't you take care of them? Well, Mr. Adams, let me review. He opens up his attaché, pulls out our file, and looks through it and says, well, Mr. Adams, you never engaged us to deal with grubs. I was ripped. I was mad. What do you mean? I hired you as my lawn care. You told me you were going to do lawn care for me. If you saw this and you're an expert, you should have told me about it. Well, Mr. Adams, I can appreciate that, but you never asked us to do that. Didn't sit well with me, right? I told him I trusted you. I gave you my confidence. I basically no longer can trust your company. You guys obviously aren't experts. I'm sorry, we're done. An interesting thing happened a little bit later with one of our clients. Is we were called in on a crisis. And sure enough, they were in a bad situation. Their systems were down. So we rushed in, we brought the team in, we worked hard, we got everything back to where it needed to be, and everyone shook hands, and everyone was glad that we did a great job. But walking away from that, I realized it was the Grub story all over again. Because the owner of that company didn't know what to ask for. Because that owner of the company didn't say, what else can you do for me? Because we were busy and focused on other things, we didn't bring it up. Because we were concerned they didn't want to spend more money, we failed. Multiple reasons, multiple excuses. We were just as guilty. If you have a customer service-based business and someone trusts you as the expert, you have a responsibility to educate that individual, that client, about the possibilities and let them decide. If you're not doing this, you're not the expert. And you're going to lose them because a crisis will happen. You will lose the client. Your reputation will be affected. Your cash flow. All the things you don't want to have happen. And you may have noble reasons why you're not bringing up these different things you do, but you are responsible. You will be held responsible, and your client will tell you very clearly when they reach that frustration point, I no longer trust you. I trusted you. I can't trust you anymore. And we're moving on. The sad part about it, going back to the Grub story, is my lawn is still mowed every Thursday. But this new company doesn't do anything special with my yard. Often, you will deliver better service, but that won't matter if you fail to take your role as an expert seriously.